I will call this meeting to order. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Feels like it's been a long time since we've had a meeting. That was a joke. Let's see. The first item of business is the approval of the minutes of the regular board meeting, November 1, November 14th, 2022.
I move to approve.
I second.
It's been properly moved and seconded to approve the minutes from the regular board meeting, November 14th. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Motion passes. The next item of business are the approval of the general fund vouchers, $799.87 through $827, and wire transfers 2023-0220 through 2023-0270.
Move to approve.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded to approve the general fund vouchers and wire transfers as read. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Motion passes. The next item of business is our Spotlight in Education. I see we have the State Honor Choir participants come in to do a little song for us.
You guys are each doing a solo, right?
Well, they probably could, but I can just sit for a minute. Yeah. Okay, so this year we had something extremely rare happen. We had musicians in each of the 3 State Honors Choir this year. CJ was in the women's chorus, Shelby was in the middle level choir, and Ada Ernst was in the mixed choir. And this is pretty rare, so it's exciting for our school. This is truly the highest honor for musicians. It's like bringing home a gold ball for singing. There isn't a higher honor. Students get a scholarship when they attend, if they attend a UW school. It's somewhere around $1,500. CJ is attending a private school, and she has earned $10,000 just because she's in this choir.
Oh, wow.
So yeah. This is a nationally recognized event with nationally renowned composers and conductors. It is truly the highest honor in choral music. So we had 1,000 students audition for the experience, and our students had to prepare very challenging pieces of music. Two of which our students auditioned on an Italian piece that I sang in college, so it truly is challenging. After being accepted, the students traveled to an intensive 4-day summer camp at UW Green Bay, where they prepared their music, and conductors are flown in from all over the United States for this experience. The high school level concerts were performed and televised on PBS. And it can't be helped saying, but I'm extremely proud of these students, and they're here today to share their experiences with you. So, would you like to stand up and share what your favorite moments were?
I go first? Okay. I really enjoyed meeting all of the new people. So we have people come from all across the state. There was a majority from the southern half of our state, where I learned that my roommate had touched a cow once in her life. And that was the only time she'd actually seen a cow, so she didn't believe me when I told her how many cows I drive past every day. So it was just really great to understand those cultural differences, but also get to work with a lot of people from different backgrounds, all coming for the exact same reason.
My favorite part was just like collaborating and working with other students that have the same passion for music as I do. It's way different than everyday classroom. Like the composers are just amazing, and it was just really cool, like collaborating and like making music with all of them.
And that's all we have, so thank you.
That's awesome. Yeah. Congratulations, ladies.
As a parent of one of the singers, I want to publicly thank Mrs. Wallace for giving out countless hours to our students. Most of these students have private tutors, or the school hires a voice coach for them to participate in this, and Kristen was our private voice coach from Bono. So she came in before school, after school. She made recordings of the music. She made sure they knew what to do at the audition so they weren't crying and freaking out like I am now. So I just want the school to recognize how much work Mrs. Wallace did.
Thank you for
to
that,
get us
Marcy.
to
Yeah,
this.
thank you.
Mrs. Wall, I'm putting you on the spot. How many students have we ever had from Clear Lake that have participated in the honors
We
choir and
have
band? I think.
had 3 for the high school state choir.
Yeah,
Elizabeth
so-
Larson was our first a few years ago. That's
Yep,
all we've ever
That's
had.
it, right? That's what I thought. Yep, that's what I thought. So, yeah.
You said that was on PBS?
Yeah, it's going on PBS.
It's still on the website and it will be re-televised over Christmas break, the 26th, 27th, and 28th. I can share the links if you're
Post
interested.
that link on the Clear Lake?
Oh,
Yes.
definitely, yeah.
It was a great concert, speaking as a parent. It was a really great concert to be able to see these kids, just extraordinary kids, come together and sing on one stage. And the venue was beautiful as well.
Awesome.
Marvelous. Well,
All right.
thanks again, everyone.
And if you'll excuse me, we have a concert
Congratulations.
tonight, so I'm gonna.
Yes, you do.
Thank
All right. And if you guys need to duck out too, feel free. We are not going to hold you hostage at the
Yeah,
meeting.
whatever.
Thank you so much.
You're
All right,
welcome.
thank you. Congratulations.
All right, so the next item of business then is our public comments on agenda items. And tonight I did notice there was some names on there, so who would like to go first?
I am first. I don't know how this works, so
Could you, I'm sorry, could you state your name?
Misty Wood.
Misty Wood. Nice to meet you, Misty Wood.
I just want to ask about, and I understand that this is something you guys may not be able to answer to tonight, but to look into for the next meeting, is the school's health nurses and their qualifications to be the nurses in our school system. I have a few concerns. I don't know who our nurse is, but I do have a few concerns that maybe, I don't know if the elementary nurse is the same as a high school nurse, but is the elementary nurse qualified to be a school nurse? Do they know how to do proper assessments that are needed for children and emergencies if they are attacked, or if they have a concussion, or if they have something like that? Are they trained to notice emergencies or basic first aid? Are they trained in the CPR and in the first aid? And then are they following policies of charting, documentation of students coming in? Are they sending things home to parents so parents know that their kid went to the school nurse? I know of a few incidences where that hasn't happened for some severe cases, and they involved like some head trauma that really should have been reported, especially for a parent to know in advance to watch signs out for their children. So I guess I don't know what the school's health nurse policy is. I know for the nurse in the state of Wisconsin has to be a nurse. And I had seen somewhere for any nurse's assistants, they need to be licensed as a CNA or higher to be a school nurse. But I don't know what the district policies are. So I just think need to be on top of whatever the health thing is here, that parents are being aware of what's happening to the kids at school, and that they have confidence in our nurses. I want to feel confident that if my kid has a problem at school, that it's going to be handled really well, and they know how to contact your emergency nurses for the school district and for the state, and that there's a policy in place for any, which I'm sure there is. Like I said, I don't really know, but I've heard a lot of concerns myself, and so I just feel like it should just be brought up for other parents to also be aware of, hey, this is who it is, this is their qualifications, so we have confidence that our kids are being treated the way they should be health-wise.
All right, thank you, Misty.
I'm Jamie Wood. I'm the other one on the public comments. I've got some concerns about behavioral issues in the first grade, the lower grades. We're losing good teachers because of this issue. And not only that, these children's safety is not a good thing right now. When kids are coming home bruised up from school because kids are beating on them, when teachers can't control the kids and they gotta stop their class to tend to these kids, I don't feel it's right that our kids should be sitting in the same class as these kids, and that you guys need to really get a handle on that. With the way it's going, I'm not trying to make threats or anything, but the way it's going with the kids coming home beat up like they are, it's gonna turn into civil suits because it's unacceptable. It's countless kids. It's not just one particular class. It's multiple first grade classes. We need to try to get a handle on this. You know, we got kids that don't even want to go to school because they're getting beat up there constantly. And to sit and listen to my daughter come home and tell us that she gets punched in the stomach or kicked or punched or pushed to the ground and beat on, it's not acceptable. And the other thing that's not acceptable is when an issue is brought to the school, that the school is taking it out on the teachers. You guys step up and deal with it. Don't take it out on the teachers. That's what I got.
Thank you. Is there anybody else that has something they'd like to speak to?
Is it okay if I stand? I didn't sign the...
That's okay.
Okay. My name's Debbie Super, and I'm the mom of a first grader and a second grader. I share many of the same concerns that he's voiced. And I come to just express that I see and hear violence. I am hearing my children talk about how public property is being wrecked. If it's not a student themselves, there's public property that's being wrecked. I hear from my children in first and second grade that they have heard violent words. Words that I had hoped they'd never hear until they were in their teenage years. And so I have the same concerns where I ask for a change in our reaction. I ask for systematic approaches that maybe have a fast, systematic approach for the teachers, for the personnel that are in there and working hard for these students that need help. And I really ask for a responsiveness that we change our current response so that be it a violent act where they wreck something of another student's. For instance, my son has had his pencil box outright wrecked. My daughter has had things that she's created that have been scribbled on, and I know that that's not just the same as my children have been hit. And I know that, getting your pencil box wrecked and your paper scribbled on, I know that those aren't the violence of like the classroom being disrupted, but they're adding up. And it's getting to the point where I'm seeing anxiety in my child. I'm seeing that my child is so frustrated because they can't even earn a positive reward because it's always lost. And so I really plead for an attention to quick response and also a change in response so that there's a little bit of a change where students that are having these choices can get a little bit realizing that it's not going to be the same thing, like we're going to move quickly to the next consequence if you make those choices. Sorry to tear it up. Thank you.
Thank you, you guys, for coming in. I know sometimes it's hard to get up and voice your opinions, but if we don't have you guys coming forth and telling us, some of the things that we need to look at, we're not going to see it. So we appreciate you coming in. We thank you for coming in. We've all heard what has been said today, and we'll put it in our hearts, and we'll see what we can have come of it. So, anybody have anything else they'd like to? All All right, well then we'll move on to our next item of business. Thanks again. If you guys want to skip out, feel free to. But if you want to stay, you're welcome to too. So, our next item of business is our new business. Approval of his resignation is our first item.
And actually, there's a second one that was added in. There was a, well, I can tell you. You want me to go over them?
Yeah,
okay.
go ahead.
So we have, so Abigail Johnson, paraprofessional at the elementary school. She had submitted her resignation back right after Thanksgiving. Had another job opportunity. Was a purpose for her resignation, and then she informed her direct supervisor in the kitchen, but and then I was informed today, and I got a email or resignation email just before the meeting that I was able to add to the packet. But Renee Katz is resigning her position in the elementary food service. Again, for purpose for leaving is for she accepted another opportunity in another role outside of school. So Abigail Johnson and Renee Katz.
I move to approve the resignations.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded to approve the resignations. All in favor signify by saying aye, not before we thank them for their service.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Sorry, that was my bad. All right, the next item of business is the approval of our hires.
Okay, so we have two hires. So the first one is Tanya McCarty, and she was hired as a part-time custodian at the elementary school, part-time position, and she actually recently started. So Tanya McCarty is the first one. Do you want to do them one at a time, or do you want to do them together?
Let's do them all together.
Do them together, okay. And then our second one is Grace Amundson as a first grade teacher. She is just completed her student teaching and is graduating this week. And so she has accepted our open position in the first grade and will be a permanent addition there. And her husband happens to be Mr. Amundson, who works here as a Phi Ed teacher already. So,
All right, I'll entertain a motion.
I move to approve the new hires.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded to approve our new hires. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. The next item of business is the approval of elementary paraprofessional position.
okay, so this is something that's been under discussion for a while, and so we'd like to add an additional paraprofessional position. We do have some additional services, or some students qualifying for some additional services with their IEPs, and it's just basically based on that need. So we currently have the position posted that was just resigned for Abigail Johnson, and so with that posting, we're accepting applications, and the hope is that we would hire not just one replacement, but actually hire an additional person too.
I will entertain a motion.
I move to approve. Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded to approve another elementary paraprofessional position. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes.
Okay.
Next item of business is the review of the state report cards.
Okay, so if you go back into your packet past the resignation letters, I've got these, and we missed it by one day back in November. They were publicly released on November 15th, and we met on November 14th, so we're off by one day. So anyway, it's quite a thick packet in there because I included all of them. So there's the state report card there's a district one. There is then there's one for each school. So there's one for Gaylord and Nelson Elementary School, there's one for the junior high, and there's one for the high school. So each school has a score, and then there's a composite put together for the district score. So our overall district score, so if you're looking at the very first page, the pages look different now, or the reports look different than they used to. They've just changed and kind of streamlined and simplified them a little bit. So our district rating is meets expectations, just so I can give an overview. So the elementary school is at meets expectations, junior high was exceeds expectations, and the high school was meets expectations as well. So what goes into that? So there's 4 categories. So there's achievement, growth, target group outcomes, and on track to graduation. And then for each individual school. There's different data that goes into that, into each of those categories. And then, again, there's a composite that's put all together for the district score. So achievement is based on English language arts and mathematics scores. So for the grades 3 through 8, they take the forward exam, take that in the spring. So it's based on the forward exam results. For the 9th, help me out, Mr. Miller, 9th and 10th is the, we used to call it the ACT Aspire, now it's...
It will be the pre-ACT.
Pre-ACT.
These scores are based on the Aspire.
Yeah, this is based on Aspire, and then for the juniors, it's the ACT score. And then there's some other things that factor into the overall score card as well. So achievement simply looks at, raw achievement, how many students scored a 4, a 3, a 2, or a 1 on the exam, and that goes into a scoring system. And then, so the numbers there too, those don't that number is a score. It's not a percentile or a percentage. It's just a raw score is what that means. And then the growth score is measured by year on year. So they are able to look at, let's say the group of 3rd graders, and they look at their performance in 3rd grade, and they look at their performance in 4th grade, and it goes into, again, a calculation. And it's able to track how much growth occurred from 3rd grade to 4th grade in the individual students and in the students as a whole in that entire group. Target group outcomes. This looks at groups of students. So the report card has evolved over the years. So in the past, it would look at target groups such as racial and ethnic groups. It would look at economic groups like students, low socioeconomic status, used to call it. It'd look at English language learners, students with disabilities, or students with IEPs. It looks at all those categories. One thing they've found is that a lot of schools like ours, or even an elementary school, even in a really large district, would have such a small number of students that it wouldn't meet the qualification for the right number to even qualify as a subgroup. So what they've begun doing in this current model is they take basically the lowest percentile, the 25% lowest performing students, and then they compare how that group is growing versus how the general population is growing. The idea being that you want to try to see higher growth in the lowest performing students, the idea that you're catching up and closing the achievement gap. So that's what the target group outcomes. It looks at the different performances of those groups you're trying to get to grow the most. The on track to graduation category, again, that is different for every building, but there's actually, so the high school, they look at the actual graduation rate, things like that. For the middle and elementary school, they take a formula and they look at reading score and they look at attendance, and there's research and there's a formula they put it into and say that this student has a whatever percentile chance of or being highly on track for graduation, and so they use that formula. So those 4 areas. Now, the 4 areas are not all equally weighted into the final score. So achievement and growth, so on track to graduation and target group, those are 25% each, that's an equal quarter. And then achievement and growth are on a sliding scale based upon our rate of free and reduced lunch. So if you have more students with free and reduced lunch in your school or in your district, you have a greater weight is put on growth scores. And if you have a higher socioeconomic rate, then there's a higher weight put on achievement scores. So that is based on statistics in our state. So like I said, the district report card is 65.5. It is, again, that's not a percentile, that's not a percentage, that's just a raw number. That is a composite that meets expectations. Like I said, if you flip through, we can spend an hour on each of these schools' reports. And actually, every year, what we do with the administrative team is every year CISA 11 puts on a data dig where they roll out the report cards, the preliminary model that's not public yet, and they go through it with us and they review and they talk about what goes into the report card score and help us. And I appreciate doing it every year because it's one of those things that it's complex, it's involved, it kind of keeps changing over time too. But it's good to get the refresher every year of what goes into this score. So, And then internally, our admin team and then also our teacher teams, we annually have typically done a dig where we, dive into this data more deeply and look for trends and look for areas. As the forward exam has gotten to be more, it was new a few years ago, there's getting to be more years of data. The DPI is getting more adept now and better at giving us better tools to be able to analyze, okay, so our ELA score is this, English Language Arts. What does that mean? How do we dive into it? What sections of ELA are our kids doing well? What sections are they struggling with? So that so that we can actually use it to inform what we're doing and get better. So that's the 1,000-foot view. So I don't know what questions people might have.
Have you guys, Chris, had a chance to dive into the data yet, or no?
Well, we did back in November, we did do the CSTEL 11 overview of the report card itself. And then a lot of times what we've done, like in January, is with in the buildings, individual buildings, done the deeper dive with the teachers. So we have not done the deeper dive yet with the teachers, though.
I'd be interested in the future knowing the plan as to what we did with this data and how we're planning to, how we're planning to use it. And
like when we talked about the professional learning communities, that's what, that whole effort is centered around, improving our achievement. So when we talk about the professional learning communities, when we had the group come in and present, and the work that we've been doing with our consultants from CSTEL 11 coming in, that's all centered exactly around this. So the four PLC questions of what do we want kids to know and be able to do. So in other words, defining our essential standards, making sure that they are mapped out and
I'm just saying, I know you're on the spot now, but just in the future, I'd love to know the details.
Well, I'd love maybe one of our if we do another board retreat, it'd be an opportunity to kind of dig into this more with the board. I'd say that would be a good place to do that because it's something that takes time to dig into.
All right. Any other discussion? All right. Thanks, Chris. The next item of business is the consideration or approval of consultant to facilitate the district strategic planning.
Yeah, so I think what we'll do, because we're considering competitive proposals here, so I think what we'll probably want to do is discuss it first in closed session again, so we can look at the different cost proposals and so on. But the three proposals we've received are from Bradford G. Saran Consulting, and from the WASB, the Wisconsin Association of School Boards, and Howican Associates are the three groups that sent us proposals. So those would be the ones that we would be considering.
Okay. We'll move that then into closed. The next item of business is the review of the school board election timetable.
Okay, and that's in our superintendent notes as well. So we talked about this last time, but just wanted to make sure we get it on another agenda and get it out there publicly. So we have two incumbents up for re-election here, Greg and Skip, and incumbents have until, if an incumbent does not want to run again, they can declare non-candidacy by December 23rd. And then if anyone wants to run for school board, they can declare up until 5 p.m. on Tuesday, January 3rd. So and that does include incumbents. So if you're an incumbent, you're going to run again, you got to submit your papers again. So again, Tuesday, January 3rd is the deadline for people who want to run for the school board in this coming election. If there's a primary necessary, it'd be February 21st, and then the spring election is Tuesday, April 4th.
All right. That sounds good. Corey, thank you for the interest of running for school board. All right, the next item of business then is the discussion of WASB state convention.
Yeah, and again, I just wanted to throw that out there one more time. We're getting down to the deadline for the early bird registration is Thursday. So, so far, Matt, I believe you said you are interested in going. You're in for sure. You're committed to going. Okay. So it's 3 days. It's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday in Milwaukee. So it's a big commitment, I realize. So I don't know if there's anyone else who's interested or able to go. If you don't want to speak up now, but otherwise, if you are able to go or interested in going, let me know. Like tomorrow would probably be ideal, and then I want to get the registrations done before Thursday to get the early bird pricing. So,
all right. Next item of business then is the discussion of the 22-23 district administrator evaluation.
And I think. So yeah, and then we'll just announce that we'll be doing that process here in closed session starting here in December and then following up in January.
Sounds good. And then the next item of business is the second reading and approval of board policies. And I'll read them off. 100 definitions. 0161 parliamentary authority. Update 2260.02 English language proficiency. Update 2266 non-discrimination on the basis of sex in education programs or activities. Update 2271.01 Start College Now program. 2370 education options provided by the district. 2460.03 independent education evaluation. That's an update. 3213 student supervision and welfare. That is an update. 3340 grievance procedure. That's an update. 4213 student supervision and welfare. That's an update. 4340 grievance procedure. That's an update. 5113 open enrollment. Update. 5517.01 bullying. That's an update. 7440.01 video surveillance and electronic monitoring. Update. 9130 public requests, suggestions, or complaints, and that's also an update. Now this is the second reading. We've all had a chance to go through them. Does anybody have anything that they'd like to discuss regarding any of these board policies at this time?
Like you said, Greg, most of them are updates. The only brand new ones, I believe, are the Start College Now and the educational options. So,
seeing none, then I will entertain a motion.
I move to approve.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded to approve the board policies that I read. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Motion passes. The next section of our meeting is the superintendent notes.
Okay. Well,
Mr.
first of
Chris
all,
Peterson.
sorry. So first off, that's we've been on this long road of getting all these policies updated. So I was just pulling out the list of our timeline from going back to September. There was a bunch of updates that we said we mapped it out till December, and we said we'd get them all updated by December. So here we are. So hooray, we made it. And then like I said in my notes to you, that of course I think they come out with a new update here in January. So we'll probably have another pack of updates to do. But appreciate the Neola updates. So. All right. As far as my notes, so I just we've had as usual a lot going on outside of the classrooms, along with inside the classrooms lately. Speaking of the All-State Honors, I believe it was the night of our last board meeting. We had the All-Conference Honors Band and Choir going on, which is why they didn't come in November. So we had that going on. We've had the holiday music programs here in full swing. We had junior high last week. We got the high school one tonight here at 7 o'clock, and we've got the elementary program coming up on Wednesday the 21st. So I know the kids and, of course, the teachers have been hard at work getting them ready for that. We had high school parent-teacher conferences last few weeks. Again, winter athletics are underway. Junior high has boys basketball going. After Christmas, they'll have girls basketball and wrestling, and then high school's in full swing with basketball and wrestling going on, and dance and cheer. FFA just finished their fruit sale recently, so they've been busy doing that and getting those things out this week. And then, we were noting, Mrs. Karnick and I, just how you know, the new world that we're in with this time of year, it's not that typical, but it has been now for the last 3 years or so of, you know, we're talking about hiring and resignations and stuff during the year. It's just a new world that we're in. And I think it's, you know, I'm hearing that in every industry. Turnover, I'm on the hospital board in Amory, and, you know, same discussions there. It's just a different world that we're in, and a different job market that's out there right now. So we've had more staff changes that we don't typically often have here in the middle of the year. Yeah, so those are just some of the highlights of some of the things going on outside of the classroom in the district the last few weeks. So that's all I got.
Right on. All right, now the next item of business is not on our agenda, but it should have been. We just must have missed it. The future agendas items.
Oh, it's on the second page. It's after the close.
Oh.
Or we can do it now if you want to.
No, I just didn't know it wasn't there.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Okay, so then we'll move on to our contemplated closed session. So this is where I get to thank you guys all for coming in. We're going to move to closed session in accordance to WSS 19.85, paragraph 1E, deliberate and negotiate the purchase of public properties, the investment of district funds, or the conduct of other board business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require closed session.
Thanks for coming, you guys.
Also in accordance to WSS 19.85, paragraph 1F, concerning financial, medical, social, or personal histories or disciplinary data of specific persons, preliminary consideration of specific personnel problems, or the investigation of charges against specific persons which, if discussed in public, would likely to have a substantial adverse effect upon the reputation of any person referred to in such histories or data or involved in such problems or investigations. And also in accordance to WSS 19.85, paragraph 1C, considering employment, compensation, or performance data of any public employee over which government body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility. Tonight the board will discuss strategic planning consultant proposals, we'll discuss student conduct, and we will discuss 22-23 district administrator evaluation. I will pull the board. Nettie?
Yes.
Skip? Yep. Myself, yes. Christie?
Yep.
And Matthew?
Yes.
We are in closed session. Business? We're back in open session. Next item, business, future agenda items. Everybody have anything that they want to discuss? All right, then the next item of business is the consideration and approval of a consultant to facilitate district strategic planning. I will entertain a motion for Brad Sarin.
I move to approve.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded to approve Brad Sarin. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I move to adjourn.
Second.
Here, a second. All in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed? Motion passes. We are adjourned. Enjoy the concert.